Entitled parents and child try to pat my dog, even after I told them no, because he has anxiety. So a little background. Our 13-year-old male have two dogs both aged 6 in human years. Thor is a Beagle cross Cocker Spaniel and Odin is a Border Collie cross cattle dog, both black and white. This story takes place yesterday, when I was taking my dogs on their usual walk around the park next to my house. Now both of my dogs have anxiety. Thor has separation anxiety, which means he has to be with a person, and Odin has anxiety about loud noises and sketchy, or really anyone who's not me, my mum or my dad, people. Both dogs do take medication for their anxiety, but it's still there. Anyway, enough background onto the story. So as I was saying, I was taking them on their usual walk around the park and I pass a family of 3. The parents looked late 20s early 30s and the kid looked 5 to 6. Usually when I pass someone they want to pat my dogs and I say the same thing every time. You can pat Thor. I say this one and point at him, but not Odin as he doesn't like people. Thor loves all people, no matter what BTW. So when I got closer and they asked to pet my dogs, I say the same thing and they start patting Thor, who is loving life getting pats from people. Meanwhile Odin is kinda backed away from the strangers, so I kneel down and start patting him, which cheers him up. Just then the little kid starts walking around and tries to pat Odin, who backs away, while I put my hand in front of the child to stop him. Hey, I said you can't pat this dog, he has anxiety about people. I say as I stand back up and make sure Odin is behind me. Boo, but you were patting him. The kid says. Yeah, because I'm his owner and he likes getting pats off me and my parents, but not strangers. The kid then starts getting tears in his eyes and starts crying, while I roll my eyes and his parents were doing nothing. I said they could pat that dog, but not this one. The parents start telling me how I should have let their child pat that dog, but I stood firm and told them it's not happening and you have 30 more seconds to pat that dog, and I'm leaving to finish my walk. They pat Thor for 30 seconds, the child still trying to get to Odin, who is terrified, but I stop him and leave after the 30 seconds are up. I told my parents about this, and they seem to agree with me that that was the right thing to do. Biological father is angry I don't call him dad. I haven't spoken to him in 12 years. I, 18 female, was abused by my biological father when I was 6 and my sister was 4. This was during the summer he got married to his now ex-wife. She's a damn witch, and she was a manipulative bitch that groomed my sister into saying my father, adopted, was touching her so they could gain custody, divorce my BO father, and run off with my sister. Edit, should have specified that it was her plan. I didn't get kidnapped, thankfully. Her plan was to run off with my sister after my BO dad gained custody. Thankfully it didn't work. Sorry for the confusion. After my mom found out, my mom gave him a choice. Either sign away his rights or go to prison. Obviously, he chose to sign his rights away. Since then, I haven't spoken to him in 12 years. My mom went on a trip to visit my aunt in Cali about 5 years ago, and she ended up bumping into my BO father. He expressed that he wanted to know how my sister and I were doing, so they exchanged numbers. Now, my mom didn't try to have us contact him. He would just text her and ask how we were doing, and she would either tell him we were great or stuff like that. He would send her a text saying happy birthday or Merry Christmas towards us, but other than that, that was the only sort of weird contact we had. She would occasionally ask if we wanted to see him and wouldn't push us when we told her no. 2 years later, he completely forgets about my sister and I because he gets remarried for the 3rd time with a woman who is very wealthy. No surprise there given that he's a gold digger and a narcissist. I wasn't bothered because I don't care for him. He lost all rights to call himself my father the moment he let his ex-wife abuse me. He never did a damn thing to stop her. He would only sit on the couch and drink beer while waiting to be deployed. He's in the Air Force, while my wicked bitch of hell stepmother beat me for accidentally spilling water. Well, fast forward to today, he calls my mom completely out of the blue. I was watching TV with her when he called. While they were talking, I asked who it was. When she said his name, my response was, W? Why the hell is he calling? Well, he heard me and went into an exploding rage, yelling at my mom and demanding why I didn't call him dad. My mom goes, because she isn't your daughter anymore. She hasn't been for 12 years. And she hung up. My grandma, BO dad's mom, called later and apologized for him. Now, I love my grandma. I have a fantastic relationship with her, and she never believes half the shit her son says. When it comes to my sister and I, I'm lucky to have her. cousin tried to steal my dead dog's toys for her precious baby. So for context, I, 16 male, lost my dog of nearly 14 years earlier this week. This was incredibly painful, but it was also something that I knew was gonna happen as my dog developed a cancerous tumor late last year. Despite this, I was in no way ready for him to go. Now onto the incident. Today one of my cousins came round with her 2-year-old son to see my parents. I should also note that her son is obsessed with dinosaurs, as in anything he sees that's relating to dinosaurs he has to have, even if it's not his, as his mother has the attitude of my baby boy deserves everything and everyone should give him everything, no questions asked. Here's where the problem starts. Since my dog's passing, I have kept all of his stuff, bed, toys, blankets etc. in my room, as I'm just not ready to let go of anything yet. Among my dog's stuff is a dinosaur toy, which admittedly wasn't a dog toy when it was bought, but was used as such nonetheless. So at some point my cousin's kid, he isn't really an ek, he is only 2 after all, comes into my room to see me, and pretty much as soon as he opens the door he sees the dino toy on my bed and grabs it and starts yelling mine mine mine. At this I quickly tried to explain to him as best I could that it wasn't his, and at the same time took the toy off him and put it on my desk out of reach. Well, this just set him off, and he started screaming, which naturally made all the adults come running up to see what was the matter. I explained the situation to my mom, who obviously understood the situation, but my cousin on the other hand started yelling about how dare I snatch the toy away from her baby, and how I should give it to him to make it up to him for making him cry. I said no way, as the toy has sentimental value to me, and I have no reason to give it to him. At this she grabbed her son and stormed out of the house, but not before smashing a photo of my dog that I had on my shelf as she left my room. She has since been messaging the family group chats to badmouth me for being mean to her baby boy. M attempts to steal phone from deaf brother. Quick context. I have a brother. He's deaf. That's all. Onto the post characters. M, Ek, me, Neo, brother, TLDR. Ek tries to take brother's phone because deaf people can't use phone. Story. Me and my brother were at an ice cream shop and he asked me if I liked it in sign language. I responded yes. A kid came over to us and said, "Hey, why are you doing that?" "You know, with you hands." I explained it was sign language and how Neo was deaf. He responded, "Oh, okay," and went back to his table. A few moments later, the bleached blonde spray-on tan mother approached us. "Hey, so your brother is deaf, right?" "Yes." "Why so why does he have a phone? You know, my son has been getting good grades. He should have it because he can hear." "Is this a joke?" "No, you cannot. Him being deaf doesn't have anything to do with his ability to own a phone, but he can't even call. My child gets lost, and it would be so helpful if he could call me." Ek then comes over. Ek, "Mommy, can I have the phone now?" M, "Just a second honey." M to me, "Listen, you're a liar and that's probably not even his phone. Hand it over and we'll call it even." "Me even for what?" I looked over at Neo blissfully unaware and signed we go now. As we got up, Ek snatched the phone from his hand and ran into the bathroom. Neo ran after him. It was the boys' bathroom. I didn't follow, girl, and 30 seconds later the kid comes out crying and Neo comes out with bleeding arms and a dripping wet phone. The kid ran to his mom and said Neo attacked him. M ran to Neo, but I got in the way of her and her kid bit me. I hit him straight in the face and actually knocked him out. I was twice his size. The M didn't care really, and at this point an employee came outside. "Ma'am, what is going on here? Is that kid okay?" "Me, this woman and her kid attacked me and he trying to steal my brother's phone." "M, that's not true. This phone is my son's and this kid stole it." She knocked my son out." "Me, I knocked the kid out in self-defense." I showed the bleeding bite marks. The employee took Ek inside and pulled them into a separate room while I caught Neo up in sign language. They took our statements and we talked to police for a bit and answered some questions. There ended up being cameras, thank God, and we went home an hour later.